Marjorie Taylor Greene, someone who was once even believed to be by the Republican Party a fringe character. We hopefully still believe she's a fringe character, but now the Republican Party, as we talked about previously on the show, is trying to make her mainstream and trying to give her power. What am I talking about? She has now been appointed to the Homeland Security Committee and the Oversight and Accountability Committee within the House of Representatives. Now, we don't talk a ton about the specifics of the committee process, but I'll just say it's important. That's actually how everything happens behind the scenes in Congress. And she's now being handed positions of power within that process as one of the most wild, detached from reality conspiracy theorists that I am aware of. Now, we'll dive into the reporting on this and then look at some responses to this news breaking. But before we do, let me just remind you who we're talking about. Remember this moment from back in her, shortly before her congressional days?
The fact, because we see all these sealed federal indictments, and we're seeing all these other things happen, and there's sources like, he's anonymous, Q is anonymous, but he seems to be completely for the good. He seems to be totally on Trump's side, and he seems to be very high up and connected. So because of those things, I'm becoming more hopeful, and I'm not being as pessimistic, and I'm trying to stop saying that's never going to happen, because I really think it might happen. So I'm very excited about that. Now, there's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cable of Satan-worshiping pedophiles out. And I think we have the president to do it. And so I'm very excited about that.
So exciting. So before she got into Congress, she was spending her time talking about the global cable, as she said, or cabal of Satan-worshiping pedophiles, referring to the Democrats and the QAnon conspiracy. She even specifically said Q there, but the QAnon conspiracy goes all the way to the drinking of blood of babies by people like Hillary Clinton. Just really randomly for a second here, the reason why they say that, why the Democrats are drinking the blood of babies, is because it gives them some elixir that makes them not age. Have you seen Democratic politicians? They're aging, let me tell you. That's not the problem, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get back on track. So she, like I said, appointed to the Homeland Security Committee and the Oversight Committee. Here from the Boston Globe, Greene was appointed to the Homeland Security Committee and the Oversight and Accountability Committee by the House Republican Steering Committee in a unanimous vote on Tuesday. The move has garnered widespread disbelief from online critics, me, due to her controversial history, which includes pushing dangerous conspiracy theories and political violence. We're going to walk through so many different things with her to remind ourselves of who this person is. But one of the examples that just came to mind is her in a rally setting saying Nancy Pelosi is, or the order she did it was, the punishment for treason is death, and Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason. Marjorie Taylor Greene, deep in the world of promoting political violence, and of course the conspiracy world and the white supremacist world, or at least orbiting that world. She, as Christopher Mathias writes on Twitter, last year, Marjorie Taylor Greene was featured speaker at a white supremacist event where her fellow speakers praised Hitler and called for Fauci to be hanged. Attendees chanted Putin as bombs dropped on Ukraine. The GOP just gave her a seat on the House Homeland Security Committee. And let's just remind ourselves of that event where Nick Fuentes, out and out, proud, racist, white supremacist, inviting her on stage and so excited to be buddy-buddy with someone who is now being handed positions of power.
We are honored, we are humbled and excited to welcome to the stage right now for our first speech, and we love to get to know her much better. I think this is going to be the beginning of something great. The representative from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
So listen, the excuse always in that type of situation is, I didn't know that Nick Fuentes was this or that, and she's now denounced him and whatever. But before you speak at an event, you do a little homework. And if she didn't do any homework and really didn't know the vile nature of that movement, then that just shows how unqualified she is to consider, prepare, to discuss and think about important issues if she can't even make sure she doesn't speak at a white supremacist rally, where again they were saying Putin, Putin about him attacking Ukraine. Horrible. Here from Eric Swalwell, this is who Kevin McCarthy thinks is qualified to serve on the Homeland Security Committee, and he attached an article that is titled GOP Congresswoman Blamed Wildfires on Secret Jewish Space Laser. Y'all probably remember that. The Jewish space laser congresswoman is being handed these positions of power. Then we'll continue through this tour of people reacting to this. Seth Moulton saying this is the group the speaker trusts to conduct Congress's critical role of the government. Members who have said they could have won January 6th and that it would have been armed. Marjorie Greene has said that. Spoken at white nationalist conferences, compared vaccine advocacy to Nazi propaganda. It just continues going, and I'll show you one more past clip of her talking about 9/11.
By that time in our American history, we had George Bush for 8 years. We 9/11. Sorry about that, guys. Call came in, so I had to decline it. But we had witnessed 9/11, right? We had witnessed 9/11, the terrorist attack in New York, and the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, and the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. It's odd. There's never any evidence shown for a plane in the Pentagon. But anyways, I'm not going to dive into the 9/11 conspiracy.
And it just goes on and on. We could spend all day talking about all of her wildest conspiracy theories, her provoking of violence, of course, an election denier. She was the one perpetuating the lies that led to a domestic terrorism event with January 6th, and now she's on the Homeland Security Committee. It's just all backwards. And I don't know what to say other than, this is a really bad look and a really bad reality for America. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's below this video. Thank you.